30 minutes past 6 p.m. Greetings. You're welcome to Prime News on My Major Prime live from Studio A of My Major Prime at Fengodron Bange in Douala, the country's economic capital. My name is Gienda Peldrin Blanche King. The government of Cameroon has imported 165 cows to boost dairy production in the coming months as the country suffers a deficit in the local production of milk. The cows were imported from France and are expected to increase milk production to 120,000 tons per year. Eileen Sama reports.
The animals were purchased by the government of Cameroon thanks to the livestock development project PROVDEL financed by the World Bank. The over 165 cows from France will boost dairy production in the country with the current deficit in milk production of around 120,000 tons per year, despite local production, which has increased by 7% since 2014 to stand at nearly 275,000 tons in 2019. According to Dr. Abouame, the coordinator of PRODEL, the Cameroon government has taken drastic measures to resolve the current deficit in milk production. The imported cows, 165 of them, are a special breed of pregnant heifers of Montbéliard and have been kept at the Luguer station in their stables in Menchum Division of the North region and will be quarantined for a few months before being integrated with the local breed, as revealed by Dr. Bisong Ojong, Technical Advisor number 2 at the Ministry of Fisheries and Animal Industries. Meanwhile, the Minister of Fisheries and Animal Industries, Dr. Tiger, has challenged operators in the sector to follow suit with the government and import dairy cows to help solve the country's deficit in milk production.
Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Madame Celestine Ketchakotes, was in Limbe over the weekend to evaluate ongoing projects in the city, as our reporter Kuma Onorimbom tells us in the following report.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development has saluted the peace-loving population of Limbe municipality and their strong will to maintain the spirit of friendship despite the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. Minister Celestine Ketchakotes was speaking in Limbe over the weekend at the end of her double-phase walking visit. The minister's one-day visit took her to Limbe 2 subdivision, where she visited the Limbe 2 Council and the low-cost housing project sponsored by Options for Home. Accompanied by the governor of the southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai, and the senior divisional officer for FACO, Emmanuel Ngamba Ledu, Minister Celestine Ketchakotes was taken around the city of Limbe with a stopover at the District General Hospital in Bota and the Limbe New Market, where construction work is in progress. On her way, the minister met with a cheerful population at the District Hospital Bota entrance and was charmed to exchange with them on issues of peace, unity, and cleanliness.
I'm happy on what I've seen regarding the cleanest city.
The minister was accompanied by United Nations Habitat International juries who were on a mission to determine the winners of this year's Cleanest City contest to take place in Douala. Minister Celestine Ketchakotes disclosed that she was totally happy and proud of what she has seen as the city of Limbe is relatively clean.
So we'll share the best practice of Limbe as well as the best practice of Yaoundé and Douala. Therefore, we'll take all these best practices and launch the national campaign for sanitation and hygiene as called by the head of state.
Celebrating on the theme, Housing for All, a Better Urban Future, the World Habitat Day will be used to launch the National Hygiene and Sanitation Campaign in Cameroonian cities as prescribed by the Prime Minister and Head of Government.
Cameroon Bar Council continues to mourn the death of their president, Barrister Charles Chakunte Paté, who passed on over the weekend. In the following report, student journalist on internship Abuno Clarence tells us about late Barrister Charles Chakunte Paté. His report.
The Cameroon Bar Council is in tears as Barrister Charles Chakunte Paté, president of the Cameroon Bar Council, is no more. He gave up the ghost on Sunday, October 4, 2020, in France, as he was evacuated there for medical treatment. Barrister Paz Chakunte Party was appointed as the Cameroon Bar Council President on November 25, 2018 for a 2-year mandate by his peers during a General Assembly organized in Douala, thereby making him the 11th President of the Cameroon Bar Council, replacing Barrister Jackson Yi Kamga.
Certains avocats ont été réticents à se soumettre aux formations en raison des contraintes professionnelles. Donc je souhaiterais que la formation soit désormais gratuite parce que c'est du devoir du Conseil de l'ordre, c'est de la responsabilité du bâtonnier d'assurer ou de faire assurer la formation des avocats.
The 57-year-old barrister was specialized in business litigation and occupied several posts, amongst which include arbitrator at the Common Court of Justice of Ohada, arbitrator at the Permanent Center for Arbitration and Mediation of the African Center for Law and Development, former representative of the bar president in the littoral region, former lawyer at the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. Barrister Charles Chakunte, during his stay in office as president, defended the interests of lawyers, amongst which included Barrister Menchum Division, arrested in 2019 while seeking refuge in the southwest region after the CRM protest.
Je voudrais indiquer que, en tant que bâtonnier de l'ordre, je représente et je parle ici au nom du barreau du Cameroun qui a toujours été aux côtés de Maître Ndoki. Le barreau du Cameroun défend l'avocat de Maître Ndoki et non la militante. Mais le barreau du Cameroun suit depuis les premiers jours de l'arrestation de Maître Ndoki l'évolution de sa situation. Je me réjouis aujourd'hui de l'arrêt des poursuites.
The death of Barrister Charles Chakunte has left his family members, colleagues, and the entire Cameroon Bar Council in pain.
Over 100 poor and needy persons in Douala have benefited from goodwill donations offered by the Billion Coin community. Our reporter, Darling Gunde, says the donations were handed over to the beneficiaries recently. Her report.
These are the beneficiaries to the kind gesture made by the Billion Coin community. They include the blind, the deaf, the dumb, the crippled, and not limited to the orphans. Motivated from his background and the undying need to always bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, the goodwill ambassador for the Kringle Society, also known as the Billion Coin community, says these are just but the few reasons behind the donations.
Me, I used to be part of them, and this initiative is to make sure that we can give giving the best to humanity. Actually, it is a goodwill organization where globally, it's actually, we believe that humanity deserves the best. So we are gathering people globally in this community to make sure that they can receive what we have, what we are giving. And the motive is to serve one another with love and respect. We believe that any human being on earth deserves just the best.
On her part, the Divisional Delegate for Social Affairs, Madame Etame Delphine, has applauded the initiative while calling on other private bodies in assisting government's efforts to care for the poor and the needy.
Today we want to show to the nation that there are some people who able and who like to help. And so we have to do all our best to accompany them. I can say to the organization to hurry up to help us to take care of those children and disabilities.
The gifts, which comprise of detergents, foodstuff, beverages and didactic materials for academic purposes, were received with much enthusiasm and appreciation from the beneficiaries.
Parce que beaucoup n'ont pas à manger, beaucoup n'ont pas à boire. Donc ce don est très bien. Je veux dire merci à l'association.
While appreciating the kind gesture, the president of the Association for the Integration of Handicapped Persons in Cameroon, Charles Molang, also seized the opportunity to state some of their plights.
On n'est pas des objets de sacrifice. Nous sommes des êtres. On a besoin d'être respectés. On a besoin qu'on respecte notre personnalité. C'est important pour nous.
By the end of the day, a common meal was shared to grace the day.
Goods worth over 30 million francs CFA have been stolen from a beauty and fashion shop by some men of the underworld. According to witness account, the operation took place during the early hours of this morning, leaving the entire Makepe neighborhood in confusion. Details in the following report with Dalingande.
With an increase in the demand for feminine accessories in the markets these days, pilfering on the other hand is on the rise in order to meet up with such supplies. This is Caprice Beauty Hair, situated at Makepe, Douala, a fashion and beauty shop which has recently recorded another burglary act happening in absentia of the shopkeepers. Witnesses, however, recount that it was during the early hours of this Tuesday morning that unusual movements were heard from these premises, as this sales girl further explains.
Good morning, I'm the daughter of Madame Tamez Zinabol. I serve them. What happened was, I don't really know what happened. We came in the morning and covered
the stolen items worth over 30 million francs CFA are said to have included a variety of wigs, precisely the Indian human hair model, bags, dresses, and other accessories. The sales girl further elucidates.
So there was no money, cash, for them to take. But goods have been taken worth over 30 million if you want to evaluate in cash. The dresses, the mesh, the handbags, all that, because jewelries were not taken. I guess they didn't have much time to pack everything. Jewelries were not taken, so what was taken was dresses, bags, and mesh with some wigs, not even some wigs, majority. Because if you can see, all of the wigs were taken.
On her part, the shop owner is still in dismay as to how the perpetrators got access into the shop, given the security status was highly tightened.
We have 4 doors. The first is a grillage, that's an iron door. The second, vitre. And then the third is still an iron door. And then there's a 4th outside. So they had really maybe calculated on how they will break in, because the security is really tight for someone to just come and break in like that. So they had really worked on it very well.
As of now, the management of Caprice Beauty Hair is pledging to continually meeting up with their clients' demand. Meanwhile, investigations have already been launched to track down the culprits in no distant time.
The remains of 2 individuals who drowned recently were retrieved over the weekend. In the following report, our reporter Audrey Izatsa confirms a 9-year-old boy in Marua and another in Limbe were the victims. Let's now visit her report.
At this spot, the lifeless body of the 22-year-old identified as Ngalame Hansel, who had allegedly drowned while at a stream with sibling on Friday, 2nd October 2020, has been discovered. According to the sibling, on Friday, October 2020, they both left to the stream for laundry, and despite his warnings, the latter dived into the water to swim and later on got carried away by the waves within a brief period of time into the stream. And after being carried away by the waves, his lifeless body was washed down to the shores of the beach, where he was discovered early morning by locals around the Idinaun beach, who had given alerts to local authorities and elements of the National Gendarmerie. Still over the weekend, the corpse of a 9-year-old that had drowned in the Mayo Kaleo River in Marua, Far North region, has been retrieved. The kid's body was pulled out after over 5 hours of search by members of the firefighting brigade. According to locals, over 10 kids have drowned in the locality within the space of 3 months, leaving parents scared. The forces of law and order rushed to the spot to conduct an assessment report.
33 meritorious students in Douala have received Excellence Award of cash prizes and some didactic materials. The prizes were offered by the AFAB Development Association in Douala during the event of the annual Excellence Award. Details with Nora Kakebi.
AFAB is a village in the Ejagam tribe in Menchum Division in the southwest region. Recently, in the Bonaberi neighborhood in Douala, the AFAB Development Association organized an Excellence Award event to encourage hard-working students. The awards included cash prizes of 5,000 francs to 50,000 francs and some didactic materials such as pens, books, and school bags. Some 33 meritorious students were the beneficiaries of this Excellence Award organized by the AFAB Development Association. It is worth mentioning that it is an annual event with the objective of encouraging academic excellence. The first edition of the event took place on September 5th, 2009, and this is the 12th edition. Mr. Lalo Cletus, president of the AFAP Development Association, encouraged the beneficiaries and cautioned them to work harder in order to continue benefiting from the association's kind gesture. The sponsors, he says, include elites from AFAP village and the diaspora.
Now like this, I can tell you everything is based on the people of AFAP village, both national and international, the diaspora and those of us that are here. As you heard us saying, congratulating what they have done and what we are ourselves are doing here.
According to the chairperson of the Prize Award Committee, Mrs. Bate Beatrice Besem, education is the key, and no one, she cautioned, should be left behind, job or no job.
The objective behind a ceremony like this is to motivate the candidates, because many students, some are, especially during this problem of COVID-19 and even the backdrop of economic crisis, some students think that it's not worth the problem going to school because they have their elder brothers and sisters at home who have certificates and there are no jobs. But then we keep on telling them, tomorrow when everything will be fine, they will not go to the kitchen to take people to come and work in offices. So what we are doing is to encourage them to work hard, to pass their exams and have their certificate, which will help them tomorrow.
One of the beneficiaries, Echu Rosemary, who was all smiles, says hard work pays and therefore must be encouraged.
Very, very happy for receiving these prizes, and I'm grateful for God for making me to be able to achieve these prizes. I'm about to encourage the younger ones who are coming behind that they should also try their best because hard work pays.
The AFAP Development Association is bent on giving the children the push they need to help them become responsible men and women in the society.
Youths of Zoa, a locality in Menchum Division, have been urged to be ambassadors of peace, unity and living together. The call was made during the finals of the Zoa Council football tournament, which took place over the weekend. Details with sportsman Fabrice Kendinga in the following reports.
The Zoa Council football and handball tournament has rounded off in Limbe, a locality in Menchum Division, northwest region of Cameroon. The sports jamboree, which started in July, ended at the weekend with Three Corners Football Club beating the Warriors of Kigem by 6-3 after post-match penalty shootout. The winners back home the sum of 500,000 francs CFA from the cup donor. The competition, organized by the Zoa Council under the leadership of Mayor Ndonke Titus, was aimed at engaging the youth in meaningful development through sport and also to preach the message of peace, unity and back to school. Amongst the thousands of spectators at the Way Municipal Stadium was the divisional officer of Pungom Subdivision.
The significance of this competition to us is an act, especially coming on the eve of school resumption for 2020-2021 academic year, is a mobilizer for the young people who are mostly students and pupils to get set to go to school tomorrow.
The president of the organizing committee was elated that life is gradually returning to normal in this part of the country.
Today being the finals of the Zoa Council competition, we are actually happy with the turnout of the population. The village has come back together. We are united and we have said no to goes down, no to nationalists. For now, we have struggled and reunite Fungom as a whole. The same competition is taking place in Isu, Bagmen, and other places. And the Zoa Council today, being the 4th of October, we have decided to share books to all the primary schools in Fungom.
And that's it for today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. Thanks for being a part. We've come to the end. Join us tomorrow at 6:30, God willing, for another edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. The news was produced by Ewane Ela Inolinga, coordinated by Faith Tataberenyu. My name is Genda Belgian Blanche King. Stay tuned to My Major Prime. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Kim Leonard. Good night and enjoy the rest of your evening.